Number 3 on our agenda tonight is audience comments. Tammy, do we have any? Okay, none tonight. Moving on to number 4 on our agenda, if you're following along, is our consent agenda. These are items that the board sees regularly and we are very familiar with. These items to be approved on the consent agenda tonight are 4A, the minutes of the June 13th, 2024 special meeting. 4B, claims. 4C, superintendent's personnel actions. 4D, leaves of absence. 4E, review of the 2024-2025 procedure updates. 4F, the 2024-2025 salary schedule amendments. And 4G, review and approve the 2024-2025 Code of Acceptable Behavior. And lastly, 4H is our maintenance surplus. Are there any questions from anyone?
I have a quick question. On 4H on the maintenance surplus, those trailers, is that the trailers behind Whitehall? Is that the one that is? Okay. Yes. I thought it was. I just wanted to confirm.
Is there any other questions? All right. If no questions, then I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Ms. Cobb and second by Mr. Rutherford, right? If I heard that right?
Yep.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. And I want to remind everybody watching tonight, we don't have a huge audience, but I do want to remind people on our social media platforms watching, these are all items that we have seen for quite some time. So we've had our agenda, we've had the ability to call in, ask lots of questions. So obviously, everyone, we say that every month, but I just want to remind everybody. Moving on is number 5. It's our monthly reports, and it's our instruction report tonight with Mr. Ray.
Good evening, how are you all?
Good. How are you?
Good. I just kind of shared as we go into this next year, we've got together as our academic team and talked about kind of our focus and what we are going to be putting our time and effort into, and that's based off things we need to follow through on, and also on some things that we just have heard that there's some needed supports from schools, going out with Dr. Gillum on site visits and just feedback as well. So we're going to continue the PLC work that I know has been brought up over the years and make sure we're doing the supports that are necessary. Student engagement came up quite a bit as we went around with Dr. Gillum for site visits this year. I know that Kagan training that you all approved, that we've already had one of those sessions. Have another one come up in July, and really excited to get in classrooms and see kids getting more opportunities to learn and talk to each other. A little bit maybe less sit and get, more cooperative learning opportunities. Early literacy and math supports, and some of that comes with the changes in laws that have been passed by the state. And as those come about, we don't want to just leave teachers to kind of flounder in the water. We want to make sure as these things are coming about that we're giving the supports that are necessary to try and help them be successful, give them the trainings that they need and the tools they need along the way. And then leadership capacity. And that's something that we're wanting to rebrand some, and Mr. Muntz is back there and he's helped lead some of these leadership meetings last couple of years. And what we want to really do is make sure that we paint a picture that these aren't just for people that want to be principals. We need people that want to be guidance counselors. We need people that want to be a director of technology, people that want to be a special ed director, all these various roles, or even going back to their building and being a lead teacher that helps drive a department and helps the school be more successful and help the future leaders kind of continue to grow from within. So those are the areas that we're going to focus on next year, and as we're having our instructional reports from different levels and different groups, it'll kind of tie back to this. So I'm going to kind of tell you all that, and that way as those topics are coming up, you're aware, and also see if you want any questions.
That's great.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate what you do.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is 5B on our agenda. We have Jonathan Smith with Branscombe Construction. He's going to be presenting our update on our new Madison Middle School project.
Good evening. Just want to give y'all kind of a rundown of where things are since last time I was here. We've had a lot of progress over at the school, and just want to show you some of that. That's just an overall shot of actually standing there at the job site trailer. So you can kind of see that whole front area of the school, and of course the area to the left, area D, is where brick is going on. It's going on around the building. I'll show you in a little bit, but progress has been good. This is looking at the main entry there. You see the right, that yellow, they're actually starting spray foam there on that area, so they'll be starting brick and very soon. I've actually talked to Chris today. I think we've got about 35, 36 masons on site, so we've got a lot of people laying a lot of brick, a lot of block right now. This just kind of close up there, you can see that's the gym, part of that office there to the left. 3 big openings, of course, that'll be windows there going into the gym, letting that natural light in the gym, but you can see that spray foam starting around on that area. This is looking at area D in the front. Of course, last time they were brick just on the inside and they kind of started around the corner. They're actually all the way around to the other side, to the joining area C of the building. They're actually going to jump back on some of these areas before long and start washing brick in those areas because they've got a lot of those areas already completed. That's that area D around the corner, bricks all the way down the corner. You can see they're coming down area C, working their way around the building. Of course, see the 2 colors of brick going on that reflects what Tony's elevation is. They're going on around the building there. This is looking at the back of area C. You can see the spray foam going on that side, and they're bricking right behind it. And you can see off to the left there, that's the storm shelter wing, area E, and I'll show you close up of that. The joists are going on in that area. You can see the masons are going on up, getting those walls topped out. You can see some of the steel joists. I've got a close up here in a minute. You can see that's the structure that will get concrete over the top of the roof in that storm shelter area. So you can see that work progressing on around the building. Then they're following up with decking right behind as they're getting steel set. The steel decking's going down. This was the big, huge pile of rock. It's almost all gone finally. They've been hauling it to the adjacent side. Become that lower parking lot area coming off there. So they're about to get all of it gone. They were actually spreading it when I was there on site yesterday. So they're about to get all of it gone. This is looking down at the sports field. You can see, I showed you last time they were starting to set some of the lights in the sports field, but they've got several of those set. They're actually coming back on site this week to get some more of those set. I think they're going to stay and get them all up in the air so we can get the poles stood so that they don't get damaged on the site. So they're going to get the rest of those installed in the next few weeks. We've got the slabs poured on some of the sports field building. That's the concession stand there, football, soccer. You can see the restroom area, you see all the plumbing there. That slab was poured. And then there's football locker room. They're actually starting to set frames around the exterior, but all those slabs have been poured, and they will start pouring the other softball, baseball in the next few weeks. They're getting that plumbing roughed in now, and we'll be pouring that concrete slab. They're actually going to start some of the foundation block on the other buildings. They're going to start it in the next few days down there so we can get up to slab level and get our slab ready to pour. This is actually looking at the back of the building, towards the back of the cafeteria, and you can see to the right there, that's the storm shelter wing of the building. I was actually standing right there about where the soccer field is, looking back towards the building. So that's the whole elevation of the back of the building there. This is in the cafeteria. You can see all the soffit framing. They've been working on it for several weeks. They should be pretty much done with soffit framing in that cafeteria area in the next, probably this week. Then they'll start moving to the classroom area of the building, start framing that soffit. There's been a lot of overhead. You can see the duct work, piping, everything above, but they're getting way along on the framing now, those soffits and those ceiling areas. This is the main corridor. Looking out to the exterior of the building, you see those joists have been set the last few days. The steel guys back on site now that the masons have got those walls topped out. And I'll show you here in a minute. This is the media center. Those joists are set. They'll start decking that this week. Should have the decking on this week. So as those areas are being closed in, we'll get the roof back on site. We'll start covering those areas, getting those dried in. So still, in the next 30 to 40 days, pretty much the main part of the building, all the structural steel will be set and everything will be decked. And then the roof will be coming in right behind them, getting those areas dried in. This is that office area, that front office area. Those remaining joists and the big beams in there have got set in the last few days, so they're getting those in. They'll start getting their bridging and everything across, and those areas will have decking over, and we'll get those covered in the next 30 days too. This is one of the classrooms. You can see a lot of the piping overhead, sprinkler pipe, duct work. electrical conduit. A lot of that is starting to get installed in the classroom. They're kind of working wing by time. But a lot of that work is ongoing. It's coming along really good so that we can get a lot of that overhead stuff done in those classrooms. This is that storm shelter. This is actually in the bathroom of the storm shelter. You see those joists that are there, the big heavy joists that support that wing. That'll get covered by steel decking, and then of course concrete will pour on top of that. But they've got some of those started on that storm shelter wing. So we've had a lot of progress, still a lot more to go. We've been working with KU to try to get the issue with electric worked out. We're still working on it. We actually should have the main water supply on in the next 2 weeks. We finally got that issue dealt with the city of Richmond. So they've got our meter out there and we should get water on hopefully in the next few weeks. And we'll get it down over the hill to the sports buildings because the Masons will need water down there. So everything's progressing really well. Weather's been cooperating pretty much, so it's been really good the last few weeks, last month, and should continue that way. So, any questions anybody has?
Looks good, thank you.
Looking good.
Okay.
All right, next up, Tony Thomas with Klopfelter Samacar Architects. He's going to give us our construction report.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. We'll start with the Phillips Building. I got lots of pictures, so I'll roll right through them. Of course, this is along Georgia Street, a lot of the metal panel going up, and I have some pictures from today, but I didn't get them onto my PowerPoint. That top piece is all the way down to the overhead door now. If you go inside, a lot of gypsum board is up, a lot of paint is on the wall. Of course, this is an area where this warehouse where there's not any ceiling there. Some of it's just going to remain open, yet there's other areas where we're filling it in with gypboard, and you can see somebody finishing out a ceiling here up on his stilts. That's the tech workshop. I'm sure Ben's happy with that place. This is one of the offices in the corner. Of course, this specific area will get a drop ceiling, so the pipes and ducts and things that you see will be covered up. But got windows from the offices. Just a mechanical chase, just to show you that some of the plumbing work's going on, and they're doing a great job. Very well engineered. The soccer field, right now, they still don't have some gravel down, but they do have in the right side of the picture. Again, pictures from today will show that there's a grandstand going up there now. So. If you can look up on the site, you can see that they've got the grandstand framework up now, and the concessions building is far along as well. Hopefully they can start on the soccer field any day now with the gravel. Just some more shots showing the concrete work and the concessions. And of course there was some work to paint the back building. That would be the second story cheer lab, and we're working on a new stair and ramp to bring to you all potentially to change out the stair and ramp there. But the paint matches the metal paneling color, so that's going to be on the rest of the building. So that looks really good. There's a shot from like Daniel Boone's behind me there, and of course the brickwork on this is the side of the tech building that was covered up by the Phillips building. Now that'll be the main entry with a canopy, and again they've got some metal panel up on that today as well. Just an inside shot, some mezzanine above. This is where the shop is. So lots of work there at Phillips, good progress. Of course, they keep running into, that job's always been something, you uncover something, it's like, oh, there's something else to deal with. But with that, they're still moving right along. Any questions on Phillips? If not, I'll move to Madison Middle. I don't want to repeat too much of what Jonathan's already covered. That's just to show that there is a bridge connecting the two mezzanines above. That's across the lobby area. Typical classroom, the storm shelter area, as he mentioned. Mechanical work is really going along. That's where the geothermal pipes are coming in the building. This is from the developer's road, shot from that direction, a little bit more of a close-up there with the wood trim and the brick going on, and as he mentioned, the insulation. Just another shot of the brick and the tall windows. Had a chance to get some aerial shots. This is from above Goggins Lane, so you can see how much progress there's really been in the last couple of months. Probably 80% of the place, or maybe 70, has got steel deck and some form of roof on it. A shot back from the other side, Goggins Lane is at the top of the screen there now. You can see EKU in the background there. There's one looking straight down. You can really see how much roofing is on there. There at the bottom there is the storm shelter where you can see the plan of the rooms. Just another shot there, that's almost from the trailer, the construction trailer. Going to the back 40, you can still see there's still some light poles laying down. If we close in a little bit, you can see the big pile of topsoil to the right is for the soccer with the track around it, and then the left is where the football field will be. He had more close-up pictures of that concessions and football field house, and the grandstand will be right in between. And that's looking down, you can kind of see the foundations there. That'll be a concessions building and 2 press boxes. The pile of dirt that it's now, a weeded, grassy pile of dirt, will be the topsoil for the softball on the right, and then the baseball on the left. So good progress there. Any questions on Madison Middle? If not, we'll go to the former tech center. And I know Murch has been working hard, I think. Here he is, over here. Murch is your foreman on a few of these jobs. So concrete, bricks has been filled in the back. That's the back facing, kind of the back of Madison Central area where the white vocational building is. But that's gonna be the kitchen. Poured some concrete out there. And speaking of the kitchen, all the equipment's in there now. They're hooking it up. So just more shots of the kitchen area, all of the things getting cleaned up and hooked up to be ready for the kids to come in. Floor tiles in. They did a really good job on the floor tile. It looks good because these were existing floors. Another shot of the floors and the windows in. There's still a little bit of shining and cleanup to do, of course. Another shot of a typical classroom there at the former tech building. So the classrooms are in really good shape. You know, technology is being installed as well. So moving along in all aspects of this particular project. Of course, still shooting for a tight deadline of, you know, to get the kids in the middle of August. But I really think that the classrooms are not going to be an issue. It's always, you know, it's the kitchen and cafeteria going to be going. But at this point, we're reporting that it is. It will be ready, but that's the one that's always the most complicated. That's it for the former tech. Any questions there?
So we're expecting that to be done by school,
Yep.
time school starts?
Right, Merge?
We were pushing.
Bold statement.
Inspections were scheduled for the last week of July, first week of August.
Okay.
I think right now we have training for the cafeteria, and the cafeteria lady is scheduled for the first week of August.
And like I said, the upper area with all the classrooms, you know, you saw the pictures there. I mean, they've got a month just to wax floors and get ceiling tile in.
The waxing is starting next week.
Yeah, so I don't really see any issues there. You know, is every piece of equipment up and running, you know, by August 14th, if that's the day? I may not have
It
that
just
day
looked
right.
like a lot to be done in 30 days.
Yes, yes.
That's what I was
I would agree. I would agree. So, any other questions? If not, I'll jump on to Madison Kindergarten there, and that's the front entry where we took out a vestibule, and that will be the new security door vestibules right there. Managed to keep the artwork on the wall on the right there. Mrs. Stacy wanted to keep that. Roofing, lots of roofing going on. So they've enjoyed it in this hot weather. And that white roof, you get up there, it'll blind you. But they've been able to move very quickly on that. And of course, HVAC is an HVAC project. There's been lots of curbs, roofing, HVAC. Here they are taking some of the old damaged insulation away and putting down new insulation and roofing. Just another shot of, you know, HVAC equipment and ductwork in a room, some patchwork going on in the walls in the background. Of course, when that gets done, they'll paint and put grid in. This is the cafeteria, new ductwork in there, so ceilings will come along shortly behind that. And I know it's a lot of shots of HVAC, but that's what, again, that's 80% of this project is an HVAC project. Of course, ceilings and paint, the new bathrooms as well, but lots of quick progress there as well. So at this point, yet another project that's anticipated to be open by the time school starts. So, any questions on that? I'm going to visit Waco project just for a minute. You don't have any official motion tonight, but wanted to talk to you about front elevations of the building. I think a month or two ago, we had shown some board members. Oh, you all have something printed out there? Wow. Yeah, you all are cool. So again, of course, this is the Waco project, 65,000 square feet. There's the floor plan. This is already, you know, you've already approved schematic. We're moving forward. We had, you know, had the work session that talked about the brick and the redoing the canopy, things of that nature. And all that is progressing. One of the last things to kind of take it into design development, which we hope to bring to you to next month, is the look of the building. You know, that's part of design development, is to make sure that we get the elevations and aesthetic of the building that you want. So the last time you saw it, this was the elevation that you saw, and I believe there was some general consensus that we were headed in the right direction, but maybe take that piece at the entry and make it a little grander, a little taller, a little grander. So we came back, and this is it with 6 foot. You can see more space above the window, and just as a matter of comparison, I put them side by side. On the one on the right that's taller, you can see that the window's a little taller, and of course the space between the top of the window and the coping at the top is taller. So that would be the first step. And of course, and here's an option where it's 10 feet taller. So we've pumped it even further. And here they all three are side by side. We've got the original front elevation, then an elevation plus 6 feet, then an elevation plus 10 feet. On 10 feet, we brought the window up a little bit also, again, because of the space above the window, we felt just got a little bit too big. And I tried to scale them beside each other there so you could kind of get a feel. Now, we did look at one where we did 10 feet, but also instead of the walls going all the way back to the top of the roof, we actually kind of turned it into a tower. Now, this one has some architectural challenges in that we have to catch all that water behind the tower and get it out of there. And of course, that'd be our job, just to take care of that and not be a problem for you all. But we thought that, you know, is it a tall, if we went with the 10-foot option, is that long wall a little bit too long going back through there? So there would be the 10-foot option there. So with those options, assuming that the original elevation is out of the picture, these are the three options now: the plus 6 foot, the plus 10 foot, and the plus 10-foot tower. Again, it's not an official motion, but any feedback you have would be appreciated for, you know, knowing which way to move forward. Or if you want a couple of days, you know, I mean, that's okay too.
I personally like the 10-foot elevation.
Okay.
I like the 10. The thing about I like the look of the towers, but I know it creates water problems later on, and 10 years from now, we're gonna highly regret it. So,
It's kind of like that bay window that you wish you'd never built.
yeah, so I just like the 10 foot.
That's what I picture. That's
Can you
what
do
it
the
is.
10-foot with the window all the way to the top and the white thing around the top of the window? Can that come off and it go all the way to the top?
Take the window all the way up?
Yeah.
Well, at some point, and that's a good question, I'm gonna go back to the original. Now, you see, we had that window all the way up against the fascia.
Right.
In reality, because there will be some structure there, and we've done this a lot, in fact, we're doing it at the gym at the Madison Middle School right now, that top section of window would actually be spandrel, because the depth of the ceiling and everything behind there, spandrel being that it's opaque, you actually can't see through there because the ceiling would probably be down about that first mullion line. But we could do that same look on the.
But from the road, it'll look like a window.
Yes. Instead of having the big band on
Yes.
top of it. Yeah, I think this is the one we're talking about right here. So the plus 10 foot, not a tower, but take the window and push it up to the horizontal band at the top above.
Becky, your thoughts?
I don't know. It just isn't smacking me in the face.
So
I'm trying to figure that out.
inside that area, because we were having a little discussion on the side, I apologize. Is that open? Is that foyer area open?
Yes, it would be similar to Madison Middle, where you would walk in and, well, now, we would have a little vestibule area, which would be like
Right.
Madison Middle. There'll be a little cover where you walk in so that we can have a security and weather gap. You go in through a second pair of doors, and it'll be a taller lobby in there. Once you get back in there, you can look back over the lower piece and look back out those windows. So it is a
too,
two-story
at night or in
space.
the evening, that's gonna be lit up.
Lit up?
And so that would look very
Yes.
nice.
Mhm.
The 10-foot elevation one to me looks more even with the roof line.
Mhm,
The 6 6 foot looks a little choppy
Mhm.
to me.
Mhm.
And I worry about the water situation
Yeah.
with the tower, even though I like the look of the tower. That's a concern.
Well, these are all good points.
I like the tower, but it's too bricky, I think, as far as I go. And then,
Too
like
blocky.
she said, the water, that would probably be a constant issue.
Yeah.
If you like the tower, though, what if we did it in some other type of material instead of the tower being
I
brick
think
to make
once-
it stand out?
Yeah, I think once you get some color to that, it'll change the look either also, so.
Well, and you're not seeing color now. Of course, the roof and the canopy will have a splash of color. And of course, the brick, we can,
I think you can definitely do a different brick above, on the top part of that, which will
Something to make
make
that
that stand
look,
out.
not just
Kind of pop.
building.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, that's not the letters we're looking for, is it? That's just kind of,
well, it's not specifically the font. Yes, this is kind of a SketchUp thing. It's not, you know, you've seen some of the renderings we do. This is more SketchUp. It almost looks like architect just got a sketching freehand with some Sharpie pens or something.
I think you could make that pop with a different brick color on the top, and then you could even do a brick
two-tone
border
type
trim
brick.
around the window.
And if that,
Make that,
Yes, and make the window pop even more.
make it pop even
So structurally, taking this and pushing the window up a little bit, right?
Right.
And then, I think that sounds like that's what I'm hearing.
Yes, yes.
But I believe there's an opportunity to do just some architectural features on it, not necessarily structural pieces, but a little
Yeah.
different lettering, some lettering options, some brick options.
Right.
And maybe some other, just kind of, some type of architectural feature potentially attached on, maybe, along the corner there using some type of brick molding or.
Brick
some type-
details,
Yes.
coins on the corner.
Yes,
something like that.
Yes.
some
Well, or
things like
even-
that might just dress it up a little.
Right.
Yeah.
even too, on that,
Break it up a little bit.
the area
Yeah.
that's out, those windows there, maybe even being a little bit larger than what's on the rest of the building, anything to just kind of change it up. a
The
little
ones
bit.
underneath the canopy there?
Here.
Yeah, that's smart.
Something to make
That's
it not
smart. I like
just-
that.
Just be
So
so
really,
uniform.
so I guess
That's
the
it.
proportion
So
and everything, okay,
yeah.
here, raising the window up, but somehow make that a more aesthetically pleasing feature.
Make it
as-
pop.
Yeah, it's a little
Something
blocky
needs to pop.
right now
Yeah.
and needs some
Yeah.
finesse.
It's very square.
Yes, yeah.
Just some balls
Yeah.
up there on the top corner.
Some gargoyles looking down. Yeah.
There you go.
Big lion.
Put some red cardinals up there.
Yeah, there you go. Put some red birds up there.
And unless there's any other questions on that, that's it for my construction report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Next up on our agenda, 5C, it's our monthly financial reports, and we'll have our CFO, Mark Woods, join us.
Good evening.
Tony took most of your time, so.
Well, we only have about an hour and a half of what I need to speak on tonight, so we
Oh.
should be fine. All right. We'll start with our bank reconciliation. As of June 30th, the district ended with a reconciled balance of $116,021,127.71. You know, we keep talking about this, it's up because of our construction funds, so we got a big portion of that. Over half of that balance is construction funds that have to be spent that way, so cannot be spent for operational items. Of the reconciled balance, the district has $45,244,445.78 in investments. The rates on those are from 4.5 to 5.3. We have the local CDs, and we're still investing in treasury yields. We have a few more funds that are about to come due, so we'll look at our cash flow needs at that time and see if we'll reinvest those or if we will bring them back in. You know, the balance does look like it's a little bit up, but you have to remember that from now until late November, December, sometimes it's early January, we will not receive any tax revenue. So we'll be using these funds to cover a lot of our expenditures until those revenues start coming in. So it's really just a management of our funds to make sure they last until we start getting new revenue in. In addition, you received the balance sheet and the revenue and expense report for June 30th. They're kind of where we thought they were going to hit. They're not final. We'll still be making adjustments. We have bills still rolling in that, utilities, other things that are still rolling in. We'll be making adjustments, getting ready for our closeout that has to go to the state. Our preliminary has to be there by July 25th. And then from there, we'll make some final adjustments as things come in and prepare for our audit that they'll come in around September to look at our financials for the year. Any questions?
No, no questions? All right, then we'll move on to number 6 on our agenda, our action agenda. 6A is to approve the monthly financial reports. So I need a motion.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Ms. Brock. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Next is 6B, to approve the second reading of the 2024-2025 policy updates. Are there any questions? No questions? All right, then I need a motion to approve the second reading of the 2024-2025 policy updates.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Mr. Rutherford. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Brock. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Next is 6C on our agenda, to approve the renewal of Palo Alto antivirus and endpoint disaster recovery software. Do you want to speak on that at all?
No, it's just just renewal of our antivirus, and it is an upgrade over what KDE provides, so it's good for our cyber security insurance, and as well, makes our computers run a little faster.
And this is our subscription.
Yeah.
All right, any questions? All right, then I need a motion to approve the renewal of Palo Alto antivirus and endpoint disaster recovery software as presented.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Ms. Coyle. Is there a second?
Oh.
Second by Ms. Cobb. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. 6D, to approve the Cape Electrical Supply PO.
This is for a transformer out front of Phillips, and as part of the renovation, we're going to move that transformer, relocate it, and actually move this one inside. So we would have to replace that. That's what this is. Yeah.
Yes. All right. I need a motion to approve the Cape Electrical Supply purchase order for the Phillips Building renovation project in the amount of $50,790.
So, I'll second.
Motion's been made by Mr. Rutherford, second by Ms. Brock. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. 6E, to approve the ProTech Solutions purchase for the former Kentucky Tech cafeteria floor system.
Yeah, this is the cafeteria floor, and also not just the cafeteria floor, but that multi-purpose room, that large room right next to it. Currently, in the plans, that room is, the multi-purpose room is painted, and the cafeteria floor is tiled with PCT tile, which has to be waxed. This would be to replace all of that with the spray-on epoxy stuff like we've used in the restrooms. Will give us the benefit of not having to wax that continuously. Should give us a real nice look, be a very durable product. So I recommend we go with that in this application.
Any questions? All right, then I need a motion to approve ProTech Solutions purchase for the former Kentucky Tech cafeteria floor system in the amount of $45,500.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Ms. Brock. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. 6F, to create and ratify a new nurse position.
Yeah, so the idea behind this is we're going to start the year with a couple of our nurses that will not be in the buildings. And so when we look at our nursing staff, trying to get those covered, we have so many medical situations and medical plans we have to get in place to start the year. Doing that with just a sub is not the best idea. So what we want to do is create a new position, be able to staff one of those, or district staff be able to handle the other one for startup. One is scheduled to be for a little longer period of time. Then we're anticipating some other situations throughout the year, either retirements or resignations that we're thinking are likely to happen. So this individual, while it is an extra nurse position, it's not really going to be extra nurse. Okay, it's going to be filling in those gaps. And this is just temporary for the year. When we get to the end of the year, and we'll see where we are in terms of staffing. If we have a resignation or retirement prior to the end of the year, this individual would roll into that. And so that's the idea, that's the concept behind creating this new position.
Any other questions? All right, then I need a motion to create and ratify one nurse position.
So move.
Motion's been made by Ms. Brock. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Cobb. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. 6G, to approve district funding assurances.
This is just our routine approval of those funding assurances where we say that we're going to go by all the federal and state guidelines that are necessary to get the funds that are federal and state funding. So recommend we agree to those assurances.
Thank you. All right, I need a motion to approve assurances listed in the Kentucky Department of Education district funding assurances in the document as presented.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Mr. Rutherford. Second. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. 6H, consider a contract with KSBA.
Yeah. Well,
We're definitely going
you want me to
to.
speak? So I have submitted my letter with an intent to retire January 1. So my last day in the district will be December 31st. I'm starting my 33rd year, so it's about time. But this would be a contract with Kentucky School Boards Association to begin that, to manage that search process. And as I said, it's January the 1st, so I'm still going to be around. I'm still working all the way through this first half of the year. So, but this would get the process started so we can move on, and you all will be able to have someone in place before I exit.
I think we've all already said a lot to him, so, in our private conversations. So, are there any other questions or comments before we make the motion? All right. I need a motion to approve the contract with Kentucky School Boards Association.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Mr. Rutherford. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Brock. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Number 7, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Gillum.
Well, thank you. So it is July, and I hope everybody's had having a great summer and had a good Independence Day. The 4th of July is always a lot of fun. I do want to express how thankful I am to live in a country where we can enjoy the freedoms and a country that values education, and a country that supports public education. And we pray that we never take that for granted. We do appreciate the report from Mr. Ray as he talked about some of the work that's continuing, and I always take this time to mention that, you know, school's shut down in the summer as far as bringing kids in, but it's a very, very active time for folks across the district. We use this time for maintenance on our buildings, to get a lot of our construction done, for training for our teachers, for our custodians to do a little extra cleaning, get floors waxed, and lots of preparation and planning time on the part of our district staff and our building principals. So there's never really a downtime in a school district, even though we don't have students in the building every day. And then I also want to mention, with the help of Mr. Neely back there, we worked with the B. Michael Caldwell Middle School Council in the principal selection process a few weeks ago. And so I want to congratulate Mr. A.J. Chandler, who is the new principal at Caldwell Middle School. Mr. Chandler started in our district several years ago as a teacher. He was also a coach. He served as a lead teacher, and most recently, he was athletic director as well as assistant principal for the last few years. So congratulations to Mr. Chandler, who is now the new principal at B. Michael Caldwell Middle School. And that's my report for this month.
Thank you, Dr. Gillum. Next, number 8 on our agenda, comments from the board.
Well, I'm not going to let this pass without say anything, and like Samantha said, I think we've all had our opportunities to have our private discussions with Dr. Gillum. But it has been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure. Somebody that has such a grasp on the workings of our schools has made our job easy. And to be the visionary that you have been has enabled you to lead this district so very well. You know, people they just don't realize what happens behind the scenes and the responsibility. And I recall vividly when COVID started, before they were even talking about closing schools, Dr. Gillum was saying, I've already started planning. We've already got a plan. And the plan was solid, and it was all about the students. And that is how he has led this district. It's been all about the students, first and foremost. Out of all the calls that I have fielded over his tenure, there's never been one that's complained about our superintendent. That tells you a lot. And so we've got plenty of months to keep on making you squirm and talk about how wonderful you are and what a great job you've done. But again, it's just been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure.
Just because he doesn't like to hear us brag
Oh,
on
no, no,
it, so.
Well, I have to
Squirming.
say, I've sat through a few of these letters where they've said they were going to retire. But I really feel more emotional about yours because, I don't know, you're just that type of leader and felt closer to a superintendent as you have been. So it really is sad to see you go.
Well, thank you. We miss you guys. But it's not over yet.
Not over.
It's not over yet.
I'll figure out some signs to put
Said
up.
it better myself.
Anyone else? No, you guys said it absolutely beautifully.
Thank you very much.
We have many more months to keep adding on to all these compliments for you. And we do hope that we have a lot of applications. I mean, so that we were getting ready to start the process. As you heard, we voted on the contract, so it will start soon, and yeah. All right. Number 9, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Mr. Rutherford. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Brock. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. We are adjourned.
You will rarely see me get emotional.
I felt it.
I thought you were going to cheer up.